Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here. And at the start of the season, they were 5,000 to 1 odds to win the title. And now, where we are only 3 matches away from the end of the season, Leicester City Football Club is 8 points clear and in prime position to win the English Premier League title this season. And it's one of those things where it has been the story of international soccer, but it's going to be the story of the year in sports. Just, I said it at the top, 5,000 to 1 odds. There's not one single soccer pundit out there who picked Leicester City to win the title this season, but now it is going to become a reality, and we will know much more how competitive these final 3 matches are going to be after Tottenham plays West Brom this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. That will kick off, but it really just comes down to some simple things. I mean, consistency has been the word of the season for the Premier League, and there's been nobody who's shown a game in, game out basis more level of consistency than Leicester City Football Club. We look at what they have done, and it's Claudio Ranieri. It needs to be applauded for it. And there's people who like to say that Leicester has kind of been a one-man show, but I think this past Sunday, Leicester showed why they haven't been a one-man show. It hasn't all been Jamie Vardy. It hasn't been all been Mahrez. It has been a combined effort of guys who just have a level of being in sync with one another, all having the common purpose. And if power and prestige were the be-all, end-all to win in the Premier League, Arsenal would win this title. Manchester City would most certainly win this title. But the two of them were eliminated from winning the Premier League title this season, just as Leicester City went to their triumph and pulled away with the victory. And that's because they are connected. Doesn't all come down to money. It comes down to spending your money wisely and getting your players to be connected with one another. And I think Arsenal and Manchester City, that is their biggest problems, is their players' inability to connect with one another. And Manchester City's hopes are still very well alive, and they'll be playing the biggest game that they've played in a long time in the Champions League tomorrow against Real Madrid. But at the time being, in the Premier League, the task at hand was to win this title. Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, bring in players like that were with the expectation that the Premier League title was attainable, but that most certainly is not the case this season, as Leicester is in prime position now. And their final 3 matches of the season are very difficult. Tottenham definitely has the easier route to finish out their season, but the confidence that Leicester gains, I mean, as we kind of looked at the season play out, it became more and more real. We all kind of realized more and more that the possibility of Leicester winning this title is more visibly clear than ever, and they've gained that confidence. Early in the season, we didn't know what to expect when they played the heavyweights, but they are the heavyweight now. And when they go and they play a team like Manchester United next week, which will be a tremendous match, and then they play the rest of this schedule like it is Everton and against Chelsea, they are the top dog this season in the Premier League, and they've played like it. They've owned that label this season, and players like Jamie Vardy, of course, who wasn't able to go against Swansea, have really helped them live up to that expectation. But I think now that we look at it, with Vardy being out, winning 4-0 the way they did at Swansea, the way the fans responded, it's all evident and it's all clear that the title will be in their hands. And I still look at it, and again, I look at the season, and Leicester has done what they've been supposed to do against everyone. They've dropped some games against some of the very good clubs, but they've taken care of their business against everyone that they're supposed to. And Tottenham hasn't done that this season. Arsenal hasn't done it this season. Manchester City has not done it this season. And I think in these final 3 games, of course, Tottenham 4 because they play the 4th today, will come down to that one word, consistency. Leicester has shown it, and they will show it in the final 3. And then Tottenham, I think we would be safe in assuming in one of those games might not walk away with what they need to. But even if Tottenham only walks away with a point today, it's still a 7-point lead. If they get the full 3 points, then it's going to continue to be very, very heated. But I think now more than ever, it's becoming clear, and it's a great story for sports. It really is. I've been rooting for Leicester to win this title all year because it just goes to show you and proves the point that power and prestige don't mean anything if you can't get your players to connect with one another. It works that way in all sports, but I think this season in a sport where we see so often there's that belief, fundamental belief that if you're not one of the top tier dogs and you don't have endless amounts of money to spend on players and you haven't been built on winning consistently, you can't win this title. But Leicester has shedded all those labels. They have proved that if you spend your money wisely on players that have the ability to connect with one another, and you have a manager at the top who gets it all to work and get your players to all buy in the same way and they all believe with each other, you can win the title. And that's something that I think Arsenal could not do. It's something Manchester City, with all their talent, all their money, and all their prestige, could not do. Leicester City is going to do what no one else could do, and I think it'll still be fun watching Tottenham and them battle it out, but we will have a much better picture of what that is as they pull away. But I don't think anyone realistically expects West Brom to put up much of a fight against them. West Brom is definitely one of the bottom feeders in the Premier League. And Tottenham, you give them credit because while they haven't shown the same level of consistency as Leicester this season, they have been tremendous. And really, since probably January, they have run full forward ahead, and they've had maybe one or two hiccups. But for the most part, the word this season to define the Premier League has been consistency, and they have shown a great deal of it, although not as much as Leicester. But as we continue to watch this triumphant final kind of push to the end of the season for the English Premier League, Leicester City with 3 gigantic matchups, Tottenham Hotspur with 4, and the 4th one being today, and we will see what happens there. But until then, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll see everybody next time.